Hello, everybody out there. It's Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin, and with 6 days to go till Bound for Glory, are you excited? Neither am I, but I'm still going to watch the show. I will be watching it here.
I'm not high enough to be excited.
No one is. I thought that I would do some more TNA based lists. I've done a few in the past: TNA Tag Teams, TNA Tag Team Champions. Those did okay as far as like few views. People seem to like them, so why not do more? So this is going to be the 10 best TNA Tag Team Champions according to me. Now I'm including the NWA TNA era because the TNA era championship didn't get made until Slammiversary 2007. 9 years. They've had some long reigning champions, and that's going to be kind of hard to come up with a top 10 list. So I went all the way back to the beginning. It's a very good place to start. And I wanted to go with the NWA TNA champions and just go from there. So that's why this list will have some various ones. So honorable mentions from the best ones. I try to include every single one in the honorable mentions. So Drew Galloway, Bobby Lashley, Kristen Cage, and EC3 are all included. Drew Galloway has done well, but the thing is, if he had one more title reign, I might have given him a chance. Lashley's a really, really good athlete, not a very interesting character, has about as much personality as a chickpea has mass. And Christian Cage had 2 NWA title reigns, and EC3 has done pretty well, even though they waited too long to give him the title. But anyway, number 10, Ken Shamrock, the first ever TNA era champion, NWA TNA era champion. Won a battle royal after beating, I believe, the guy who was the former Wall in WCW, and held it for a couple months before he dropped it to Ron Killings. Yes, R-Truth was once an NWA champion, believe it or not, but Shamrock gets on this list because the first. That's why he's here, even if he only held it for a couple months. Damn shame he didn't get more of a chance, but hey, first ever champion, number 10. Austin Aries is number 9. Fitting because Austin Aries had one of the best rises to fame. If had option C, cash in the X Division title for World Heavyweight title shot. They only did that with a couple people, but Aries was the first guy to do it. Cash in on Bobby Roode, Robert Roode, whatever you want to call him. And that was at Destination X 2012, and it was great because he beat him. It was actually a fantastic pay-per-view overall. One of the last good pay-per-views TNA's put on. And Aries beat Roode, and then stupidly got turned heel like right in the middle of his reign, which made no sense because he had the whole Aces and Eights thing going on. Then he lost to Jeff Hardy at Bound for Glory 2012, and that didn't go well, and that was a mess. But anyway, Austin Aries is here, number 9. Damn shame that he didn't have a longer reign. Number 8, Samoa Joe. This is another one where I'm putting him on here because I like Joe, but his reign was really not well booked. Like, he beat Kurt Angle at Lockdown 2008. Had a feud with Booker T, which, I mean, was kind of muted, mainly because Booker didn't give a crap at all when he was in TNA. Except maybe it was in the Main Event Mafia, which is kind of a fun group. Because they were all qualifying for AARP status at that point. But Joe had a number of good matches. Even if the reign wasn't booked the best, he did have a decent to good match with Sting at Bound for Glory 2008, where he lost the title. And sadly, he never got the title again. But for a 6-month reign, or nearly 6-month reign, he's here on the list. Number 7 is Magnus. Now, I really feel bad for Magnus because his reign should have been better. The way he won it in the Dixieland match, where you had to escape a cage and then get a ladder at this, bring it to the stage and go up and get the title. Because TNA, y'all. I mean, that had to have been Russo booking. If it wasn't Russo, it was somebody that was a clone of him, because that was a ridiculously gimmicky match. But Magnus still credible world champion, first ever British-born heavyweight champion that was in TNA, and I think one of the first in like a major company in a very long time. WWE, I don't think ever had one, or at least hasn't had one for a very long time. So for first, it was nice. Magnus got the title. Only held it for a few months, which is a real shame. It seems to be doing well in other companies now. I believe he's in Jarrett's Global Force Wrestling promotion, so that's good. But Magnus gets here at number 7. Number 6 is Sting. Now, I loathe putting Sting this low because he was an NWA champion in 2006, and then he was a TNA champion in 2007. But the problem is like at Bound for Glory 06, he held it for a mere month and then dropped it to Abyss, which I will get to on our list. But then he lost it right after winning a Bound for Glory 2007 for Kurt Angle. He lost it right back, like the next pay-per-view, or the next Impact taping, I think, which was ridiculous. He did hold it after beating Samoa Joe in at Bound for Glory 2008. He held it for a few months, lost to Cactus Jack, and held the title a couple times after. The problem is, it was just very weird to see him not have a long reign. So he did have one for about 6 months, so that was okay, especially for his age. So because of the fact that he put some people over and he did lend credibility to TNA, that's why he's here number 6. Number 5, Bully Ray. We're getting into the fun times because Bubba Ray was a fantastic heel. He's naturally pretty much a jerk. So that kind of explains why he was so good as Bully Ray. Do you know who I am? It was great stuff. He beat Jeff Hardy at Lockdown 2013, I believe, held the title for a bit. And then let's see, then he lost the title to Chris Sabin for like a few weeks. That was horrible. Won it back and then lost it to AJ Styles. And then I don't think ever had the TNA title again. The reason I'm going to give him the credit of being a great world champion, though, is because it was just nice to see somebody different. Like, granted, it was probably just him with the volume turned up, maybe not that high, but it was nice to see Bully Ray as a 2-time TNA champion. So that's why he's here at number 5. Number 4, Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett. Even if he politics his way to a few title reigns, granted, he owned the company pretty much, except when Dixie Carter came in, had to help him fund it after his investors pulled out. Jeff Jarrett still NWA champion, multi-time NWA champion, TNA. I'm giving him that much because, I mean, yeah, it was in the TNA era. He was never the TNA champion that I can recall, like the TNA era champion from 2007 on. But still, for his numerous NWA title reigns and for having some good matches. Jarrett was never a main event player, but he was certainly a good champion. And one of the biggest reactions I remember hearing for any of his losses was when he lost it to AJ Styles at Hard Justice 2005, when Tito Ortiz was the referee. Good God, they had no idea what to do with anybody there. But Jeff Jarrett still, for his NWA TNA title reigns, that's why he's here on the list. Number 3, Robert Roode. Really glad that Roode finally, is getting a glorious stage, pardon the pun, in NXT. Robert Roode's one lone reign. Well, actually, he had 2 reigns, but his second reign really wasn't all that good because he won it on the last taping, or like one of the last tapings in TNA, like on Spike TV, I think. And then they went to Destination America, and he lost it that very night. So even though he was a champion for a few months, or a couple months, it didn't really lead anywhere because he didn't defend it, unless he defended it on house shows, like for other companies. His second reign wasn't all that memorable. His first reign, though, when he beat James Storm, his former tag team partner, after turning on his tag team partner, at like an Impact taping just a couple weeks after James Storm had won the title. Roode then embarked on a hell of a run, facing James Storm, facing so many good people. Roode really did a damn good job establishing himself as a single star and as a world champion. So that's why he's mainly here. It's because of his first reign. Because his first reign was just, it was glorious. And it was. Pardon the pun, but it was. His feud with James Storm was fantastic. He just really exuded the confidence of being a champion. So that's why Robert Roode is here. Number 2, AJ Styles. Because he was the golden boy of WCW, of TNA. But I mean, basically, it's kind of the same as what Sting did with WCW, where they kind of kept pushing him in the background when they brought in other stars. Same with Styles. He wasn't a TNA era champion until 2009, 2 years after the title got established. He was a couple-time NWA champion, I think 3 times, if I remember right. About 3 times. And then then he became a TNA era champion a few times, and then he beat Bully Ray, Bound for Glory 2013, for his last reign, and then lost in a huge clusterfuck of a thing against Magnus, which was horrible. And I mean, yeah, I'm swearing, so what? But Styles was a great world champion and really personified TNA. It's a damn shame that Dixie lowballed him and let him go. But hey, he went and tore it up in Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling, and now is tearing up in WWE. He's a WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Ha-ha! You can take that, Dixie. I mean, Dixie's grand out of power at this point, but all this stuff happened on her watch, so she's getting blamed for it. So AJ Styles is number 2. Number 1, Kurt Angle. The man has wrestled longer than he should have. The man has put over more people than he should have for a guy of his stature. He's had a great match. He had a longer career in TNA than he had in WWE. He had only, at least as far as main roster, only had like a 7-year career in WWE. He had a near decade career in TNA, like just under a decade. I think it was like 9.5 years. But Kurt Angle, first ever TNA era champion, Slammiversary 2007. He won the title multiple times after that. Had great matches with a numerous amount of people. Jeff Jarrett, especially Bound for Glory 2008. Got some good matches out of Lashley. EC3 had a good feud with. There were a lot of great feuds that Kurt Angle had. So Kurt Angle is number one basically because of what he did. He helped establish TNA as a really recognizable brand, even though TNA was rising up a bit at that point with some signees and with a lot of their TNA originals. Kurt Angle really helped legitimize TNA for a few years. Even if I thought he hung on a little too long, just in wrestling in general, Kurt Angle still number one, and he absolutely deserves it. So that is my list. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think that TNA doesn't matter? Do you think TNA morale is high or low? Is it Hardy high? Is it unable to pay their talents high? So feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at the link in the description. And Real Honesty with John Ritland, I'm John Ritland. I will see you soon.